Minds is a think tank which was set up on a Pan-African basis, which means it's not South African, it's not Zimbabwean, but it includes all African countries. And it was set up to try and contribute towards resolving some of the continent's development challenges. We do research into certain elements which contribute to what we consider to be the main challenges of development, and we've chosen to work in 3 areas. We've chosen to work with youth, we've chosen to work in economic integration, and also to explore how culture or the lack of use of our culture contributes towards the difficulties of implementing development programs in Africa. So those are the 3 areas that we think contribute towards either unlocking or blocking, depending on whether you use them properly or not. We do research, and then we get relevant parties together to have conversations, what we call dialogues in those spaces. The future is about the youth. So, and the reality is that we're not going to solve our development challenges anytime soon. We hopefully will solve them over time, but that means we're talking about the future. And the future is about the youth, point number 1. Point number 2, as you know, the African population is skewed towards young people. 60% of our population is below the age of 35 and categorized as youth. And therefore, what the youth do or do not do will determine where the continent goes. We are holding a workshop. So one of the things we've decided to do with the youth is that research seems to indicate that young people are very active in political issues. You find them protesting and doing things like this. But when it comes to actual voting, their participation levels are very low. And we've taken it upon ourselves to try and make them understand that if they're going to impact what goes on and affect change, they need to get involved in elections. So we're holding a workshop here to try and make them understand why it is important to be involved in elections, to actually register, participate, mobilize, and ultimately vote.
You're not the most important player. No. You will get no if you are.
No. It means that the team supervision is left. Because often, think about society. Are they criminals who get away with doing what they've done?
Yeah.
Should they have been punished for what they've done?
Yes.
Who's supposed to have caught them? So who didn't properly do their job? So hold on. Clearly, in this case, Dindiwe was not sleeping on the job, was she? No. She exercised her responsibility. And she exercised the responsibility in two ways. First, she took responsibility for the time, energy, and resources. Those are goods, that's like money, isn't it? Huh? Yeah. So she's put that in, she's taking responsibility for the money she's put in. The second thing she's taking responsibility for is what? Time. Time, money, and resources are one thing. But the rules. She's taking responsibility for the rules. She's saying, Philip, The rules are the rules. And now you're breaking them. And we have to do something about it.
You've taken details of the normal distribution curve and used them to argue to justify the norm. So you've got extremes. Some people who are not educated who prove to be very good leaders, and some people who are educated who prove not to be very good leaders. And you use those examples of extremes to form a norm. So when I wrote my O-level exams, my English essay was against exams. And I still passed. You know why I passed? Because I had at the end to acknowledge that as a system, we have not yet come up with a better system to assess it. But I recognize that not everybody who passes an exam actually knows what they're talking about. Yeah. Now, if you really need to be very careful about the logic you use. Uneducated people can make good leaders. Some uneducated. Some educated people are not allowed leaders. But if you're forming a system is by definition to produce results which on the whole are predictable statistically, not 100% of the time. Make that difference, and I think we'll end up in the same place.
Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. Ain't no sunshine when she's away. Anytime she goes away, anytime she goes away.
What we're hoping will happen after the workshop is that I think when you look at how they are reacting to the messaging, to what we're discussing, they are very interested, and a lot of them have made comments such as, we didn't really engage with this topic before, but now we're beginning to understand that young people have got the levers that could actually turn the quality of African elections to something that works for them. So we're hoping that when they go away from here, they'll continue to engage with what they should be doing at a very personal level in their own communities, in their own countries, to make other people, young people, are aware of how significant their number is towards the outcome of elections. I think what I want the young people to understand is that for me at my age, the future really is now becoming irrelevant. So they need to understand that the chances are I am not, if I'm being logical, going to really do anything that's going to benefit them. They need to understand that the responsibility for creating a future that works for them is theirs, not mine.
My name is Hilary Musarurwa. I come from Zimbabwe. I see myself as a youth activist and a peace builder and also a social entrepreneur. So in my work, I try to mix social entrepreneurship, peace building, and youth activation. Well, I got to know about Minds, to be honest, through an online search, because I was looking at activities or programs that have to do with youth participation in elections and governance. The vision of Minds is to equip young African leaders with skills that can make them participate more in electoral and governance issues, and also try to build a culture amongst the young people of taking ownership of the processes that happen within Africa and within their own communities. The workshop is quite enlightening. It's very interactive. There are a lot of discussions, debates, and cross-pollination of ideas. And what I think I'll take from this workshop is the mode of engagement that it embodies, as well as the knowledge that I'm getting, because I'm also getting to understand more on the electoral process and my role as an individual in this whole scenario. It just doesn't have to end with the politicians, but also as a citizen, I am empowered to do something about it.
So my name is Rachel Narazo Adams. I'm the founder of Narachi Leadership, which is a leadership consultancy focused on developing leadership capacity across Africa. I'm from Zimbabwe, and I work with corporates, I work with high schools, universities, entrepreneurs, and also within the public sector. So I got to know about Minds through meeting Dr. Nkosana Moyo, and was extremely inspired by this idea that we can start to more strategically empower young Africans to create the kind of Africa that we all desire, and that we can also strategically believe in their ability to do so. And I think that's quite a powerful message that all Africans should share. I would share, first of all, the power of the network. The fact that coming to something like this gives you access to other young Africans who are like-minded. And that's important because our borders have put limitations on the relationships that we can form with each other, and that forming those relationships is powerful. And then I would also share that being in a room like this, I think works well to give you courage and determination and a dream that you share again with other young Africans in your power to create, that you can actually be a change agent, and that you can begin even now, not in the future, even now, to think of yourself as a leader and to build the kind of Africa that we all want.
Hi, my name is Aken Santodeng. I'm coming from South Sudan. I'm the General Secretary, Youth for Peaceful Coexistence in South Sudan. There was my friend in South Africa here. He studied here, then he went to South Sudan. He's from Aspelam Fate. So he told me about the Minds Institute. So he sent me a form so that I can fill that form to attend the workshop. The way I know the Minds. I think the Minds Institute is doing very good work in Africa as a whole. We can take it as our institute for whole Africa. So he's doing very great work because he's highlighting the youth about the program, about the elections and governance. Also, it's very interesting because Minds is bringing all youth from Africa so that we come together and discuss about Africa issues. So I think Minds is doing very great work, and I appreciate that. And for me now, it's a very good chance for me to be in here in this workshop because we are a young nation in the world, South Sudan, and we are going to have election in 2018. This knowledge, this workshop can give more knowledge so I can go back to my youth, teach them about the good elections and fair elections. As you know, we are still a young country. We need to practice democracy. So the young youth need to be given more knowledge so that they understand the importance of democracy in Africa as a whole.